Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam, and this is Talk with the Titans. On tonight's show, we've got the phenomenal brother himself. Oh my gosh, we've got Minister EnQi in the building. Peace, peace, peace to you, King. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Now, you know what? This show is going to be crazy. It's going to be off the hook. You know what? We're going to be discussing, we're going to be talking about the truth behind alkaline water, the truth behind herbs, iridology, diets, the truth about structured water. And of course, this wouldn't be a show or Talk with the Titans show if we didn't bring an element of controversy into it. So we're going to be talking about, Minister EnQi's the new video entitled EnQi Ethers Holistic Hustlers. That there is like in the spirit of, Remy Ma dropped a new video, a new diss track, dissing Nicki Minaj. My brother, it seems as though he's taking some pop shots at certain holistic hustlers. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but of course we're gonna have to ask our brother about this. So, Minister EnQi, how you doing, King?
I'm good. I'm live.
All right. Now, you know what? Earlier on, before we started the show, we was actually discussing certain things that's going on over in our community over here. We had a video up with my brother KIP. He dropped a video asking about the blood types and if we all came from Adam and Eve, like how comes the blood types are different? I don't know. I could see that you're interested in what's going on over here. Is there a chance that we're gonna have you flying over here to give some lectures for number one? And what do you think about the community and what's going on over here as well?
I would love to come over there and get it in. That'd be dope. I like the direction Homeboy was going into because it was a science. His entire response was science driven, and see that's the thing about that's why I always got you hear a lot of chatter about Minister EnQi this and that, but you never see anybody stand in front of me in an organized format. And there's a reason for that. It's very, very difficult to argue with science. So what you will have people try to do is disqualify you personally so that they don't have to stand in front of your science. So they'll attack your person, they'll attack your character, they'll attack your family, they'll attack your business, they'll attack your life, they'll attack your outfit, goddamn, but they will not stand in front of that science. And so I like what's going on over there because I don't see the personal attacks. I just see pure science, and it looks like it's very scholarly. It looks very scholarly. So definitely I would love to get over there and get it in. Right now I got Canada. Canada's been hitting me up so hard to come to Canada. They was like, listen, fuck it. We're coming to America. So Canada's officially decided that they're not going to wait for me to come there. They're going to pack up Canada. The city of Toronto is going to pack up and organize a trip to Detroit to come see me. So that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
Wow, that's wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. Now, everybody else who's tuning in right now, please hit the share button down below. Hit the share button. Get the rest of the Talk with the Titans audience or even your audience base to come and join us today and have a phenomenal talk with my brother, Minister EnQi. Yeah, we're going to be going in today, truth behind alkaline water, herbs, iridology, diet, structured water, and obviously holistic hustlers as well. So if you are into health, into the holistic lifestyle, into knowing what's going on with certain things in our environment as well, please hit the tune in button, subscribe to us, and come in, get some more knowledge what's going on in the world today. Later on tonight we've actually got a show with Red Pill, Board Knowledge Allah, Tahir RBG as well, and they're going to be going into some deep information, African spirituality, RBG explosion, so many things as well. So please, if you aren't already, hit the subscribe button, share the link with the rest of your friends, because we're about to drop some high science. Now, my Minister EnQi, I know you got like a little presentation somewhere in the background that you could pull out for us in a little while, but not now. I don't know. Whenever you're ready to pull that out. But I wanted to know, you know, because you said to me you wanted to discuss the truth about alkaline water. Most people may have heard about alkaline water via Dr. Sebi. So I don't know, you know, let me know what is alkaline water and what is going on with it right now.
Okay. So we'll do it like this, because I addressed a lot of those things in the Holistic Hustler video. And it's because there's a lot of misunderstanding in terms of acid, alkaline, and the substances we put in our body and how they biochemically react within our body. So that's one. Number two, there's a reason why, as a people, we're still dragging ass in terms of health. There's a reason why type 2 diabetes is still on the uprise. There's a reason why heart disease is still on the uprise. Obesity is still on the uprise. Like, we look at all of these great scholars, Dr. Sebi leading the way, of course, and they didn't do shit in terms of putting a dent globally in these diseases and our epidemic of premature death and premature degeneration. And the reason being is because there are too many people hustling in the holistic health paradigm that don't really know shit about the body. The only thing that they know is the health market is wide open and you can make a few dollars. So everybody wants to come make a few bucks, and it just gets nasty after that. So, you know, I put out a scientific paper because a lot of people say, you know, what you guys are doing is not translating into the largest scientific audience because you're not packaging it properly. I put out a scientific paper on water and melanin, and I got a lot of great reviews from people outside of the quote unquote conscious community. A couple of different technology websites ran it on their websites. A couple of different health people ran it on their websites. So it got a little bit of a buzz outside the community. But the idea behind it was, when I put together the God Complex course, right, for people really interested in learning the body, Black genetics, etc., they can go to my website, 40dayfruitfast.com, and join the course. Now, here's what the course layout is. I took all of the holistic science and put it right up against, side by side, with the 4-year degree you get in health and nutrition in college. So that way you can study both at the same time and get the best of both worlds. Now, let me say this, because a lot of people been hitting me up also about that. Yes, we are moving to a new platform. The new platform is going to be amazing. We actually have the new platform in beta testing right now. And yes, the price is going up. But if you join now, before Monday, you'll be able to be grandfathered in at the price that it is now. So if you want to join now, it's the smart time to do it, 40dayfruitfast.com. But with that being said, you learn the entire 4-year curriculum that they teach in colleges. You learn the entire curriculum that they certify personal trainers with, and holistic science right alongside that. Why is that important? Because most people are taking somebody else's word for what's health and nutritious. So when people hear, like when people responded to my video, they were responding in their feelings because they get a personal attachment to these people. And because they like personalities, they take what people say hook, line, and sinker. And that's where we go wrong. People are taking health information based on whether they personally like a person or not. And most of these people don't know shit. They're just regurgitating something they heard somebody else say off of a video. Like a lot of the things that Sebi did. You know, Sebi spoke down on melanin, or he made light of melanin So what happens now? You have a whole plethora of Sabi followers that have no idea about their biochemistry because they overlook melanin, just like all of the science textbooks in colleges and medical schools around the world do. And melanin is the intermediary for your health. Your health is entirely based on the original diet. Matter of fact, let me ask you this question for shits and giggles. This is not to put you on the spot because you're not out there selling health packages. You're not a health guru. You don't have a goddamn water ionizer or a cane gym machine. You're trying to sell people gallons. I just want to ask you this question. From what you know, from what you hear, what is the original diet for cells?
The original diet.
Yeah.
The original
is it
diet
vegan?
for cells.
Vegan? Paleo?
Jeez. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. The original diet for cells, I would have assumed would be water, oxygen. I don't know. I don't know.
That is you. I've asked that question in about 5 cities, and you are the closest to being absolutely correct. I've asked that in 5 cities. 5 cities, and online, and on various platforms of social media. I get vegan. I get vegetarian. I get people coming with this paleo bullshit now. I get mixtures now. Now they have mixtures now. I'm a veggie paleo, pescatarian. Like, it's getting crazy now. But people are forgetting the original diet of cells was water and light. Water and light. Nothing more, nothing less. So now, when we discard water, and as Black people, we have a problem with doing that. We take anything that we have already for granted. So because we are used to having water run through our tap, we take it for granted. We put no time in studying that. So the number one reason why I know 90% of these holistic hustlers is bullshitting is because they think they can prescribe herbs. Number one, just like Western doctors prescribe medication. So they look for a problem and then they prescribe a herb. That's number one. Number two, they don't understand that there's no plant, there's no protein, there's no supplement, there's no antioxidant, there's no enzyme, there's no thing that you can put into your body that does not work hydrated. It has to be hydrated, which means that when you take 10 people, if those 10 people present themselves with a liver issue, the very same liver issue, and you tell them all to take the exact same herb, you're going to get mixed results based on their levels of hydration. That's number one. Number two, you're going to get mixed results based on their body chemistry, how much internal tissue damage they have, what size they are, how dark they are, how light they are, which city they live in, how much sun exposure they have, because light is what drives biochemistry all by itself. And that's where the importance of melanin comes into play, is because melanin is what interprets that light for your system. And I hear a lot of people talk about melanin, and I see that they don't know shit about melanin either. They don't know the function of melanin. They don't know that there are different types of melanin to perform different types of jobs. So all of these things I had to address. So now I have a book coming out, and the book is called The Black Man is the New Caveman. The black man is the new caveman. And I will tell you why. Very simply. And this is especially the conscious, the quote unquote conscious folks.
Okay? Hold on real quickly, before you go in on that, please, I just want to do one thing real quickly before you actually do hit that. The first thing is to go directly to your website, because earlier on you made mention of your website and the new program that you've got coming out as well. So I just want to just come on here and make sure everybody knows where they can actually find it, which is on the 40-day 40dayfruitfast.com.
Right.
40dayfruitfast.com.
You can hit shop right there with your arrow. So you hit shop, then you scroll down, and it should be, I believe it's in books. No, go into books.
Over here, we've got the books section.
Yeah, I believe if you hit books, there it goes right there. Scroll down right there. The first thing, it's on sale, half price right now. The God Complex Comparative Course, ACE versus Black Genetics, Holistic Science of Asar and Imhotep.
That's it right there. So if you do definitely would like to make a purchase, please visit the website 40dayfruitfast.com. With inside of the product section on the books, you could definitely find this course that will be available, and the rest of my brother's material as well. So please keep shopping black and supporting black businesses, and definitely educate yourself and invest in yourself with this vital information. So I just wanted to put that out there real quickly. So continue. Also, everybody who's actually tuned in right now, please hit the share button, join in, drop any comments or questions. If you're hearing our brother Minister EnQi actually speaking, and you don't know what word he's using, what term, how it should be applied, or you have questions on your own health issues, please drop them down within inside of the comment section, and we'll definitely get our brother Minister EnQi to actually answer them live on air for you. Or if it's if you're watching a review of this or rewatch of this, we'll definitely get our brother to visit the comment section and drop you some answers as well.
Well, yeah, or I'll come back and do all of that at one time in the next segment, whatever, however it works.
Definitely. All right, so go on. You was about to go in and I stopped you, so continue, my brother.
Right. Well, here's the thing. We've had so much melanin conversation. We've been having melanin conversations since Richard King, and that's where that's where I began. I don't know if melanin conversation was in rotation before him, but I do know that the science of solar therapy has been around for a long time, and people don't really understand how it got replaced, and it's all based on biochemistry. Now, what people don't understand is the sun was the #1 form of medicine, and I use that term medicine very loosely. From the time of Kemet and before, all the way up until just recently, with the invention of antibiotics, sulfur-based antibiotics actually replaced light-based therapy. So people have to understand that. And there's a science to understanding the biochemistry. Inside a plant cell, there's a chloroplast. Inside those chloroplasts, they produce aromatic amino acids. Aromatic, right? We should know the term aroma, right? We know aroma from smell, the nose. What most of us don't know is that our sense of smell and our nose actually develops 85% of our brain. So your brain development is based on your nose. This is ancient science, which Europeans got their hands on, and this is why they came into Kemet and various places and removed the noses to remove the science and some of the other things that were there. But aromatic is because smell is based on light, electricity, and magnetism. All right. So there's also another scientific term for aromatic. Not only does it mean to be able to give off a smell or a scent, it also means to be able to absorb light and radiate light. So everything that's aromatic, especially when you deal with amino acids, very crucial, not only gives off a smell. So when we smell flowers and plants, they give off a smell, right? The reason they give off smell, and we love the smell of plants, and flowers is because of their production of aromatic amino acids. Now, we do not produce aromatic amino acids in our body. So this is one of the main reasons why we have a plant-based diet, so that we can consume these aromatic amino acids. And this is what life and health is really based around. So when you look at the food industry and agriculture, you understand, when you know this science, that there's no way to be healthy if you don't learn this information. And this is why I put more emphasis on people joining the God Complex course, which we now have developed a graduate program to. And the graduate program we're going to probably launch in April or May. And that is the entire MCAT textbook series. We're going to go through the entire MCAT textbook series in a comparative fashion, just like we did the 4-year collegiate course. We're going to go through the MCAT course, and that's going to be about a 12-month program, but only for people who graduate the God Complex course, because the MCAT series is so, I can't afford to waste my time with people that are just, off the street and they don't really know anatomy, physiology, and that kind of stuff. So the God Complex course will at least make sure that they have a certain grasp of biochemistry, biology, anatomy, physiology, and then we'll be able to go through the MCAT series within about a year. Now, it takes doctors anywhere from 4 to 6 years to do it, but we'll do it in about a year, give or take a couple months. The faster people will be able to do it in 9 months. Some of the slower people, it may take them a little bit longer, 13 months, 15 months, 18 months, etc. All of that will be on the same new platform. So we got a really good platform. We're getting rid of the Facebook group. We had like a private Facebook group for people in the God Complex course. We're getting rid of that because the new platform actually has that built in. But these aromatic amino acids is what builds your entire body. Your DNA, your RNA, your mitochondrial DNA, your blood, melanin, melanocytes, all of these things, every tissue, all of these things are made of aromatic amino acids. Now, what does that mean, Minister EnQi? That means a couple of things, and I'm going to try to walk you through them. The fact that somebody knows these things and you don't has people developing ways to kill, if not kill directly, neutralize your lifespan and life potential through the food. So when people are like, oh man, we got to get off the herbicides, because the herbicides are messing with the hormones and they're doing this. That's because they don't understand that hormones are peptides and proteins made out of aromatic amino acids. Now, what are the herbicides doing? The herbicides actually go into the plant cell and kill the ability of the plant to produce aromatic amino acids and destroy the existing aromatic amino acids within the plant cell. So when we consume these things, it does the same thing for us. And our brains rely on these things in order for us to process thought, in order for us to think. When we talk about brainwashing technology, it's this core understanding that allowed scientists in the Nazi camp to develop brainwashing technology. And I'll tell you how. Your ability to be an individual and be a leader, a free thinker, is based on your ability to produce dopamine and melatonin. Dopamine is what allows your brain to function, for you to process independent thought and not be influenced by outside signals so much coming in, because your DNA functions as a receptor, an antenna. So this is what dopamine does. Melatonin acts on the mitochondrial DNA, which provides your body with an internal magnetic field. A lot of people may that may be a little too much for people, but all they have to do is research the mitochondria. You look in the mitochondria has 5 respiratory proteins: cytochrome 1, cytochrome 2, cytochrome 3, cytochrome 4, cytochrome 5. Cytochrome 5 is called ATPase, which means it's an enzyme. It serves a function. It's a protein that serves a function within the cell mechanism. And the function of ATPase is an electron-proton pump. And as electrons go through the electron transport chain, it causes this pump to spin. The faster that pump spins, the larger the electromagnetic field it generates. So the mitochondria all throughout your body is what generates what we knew of from our ancestors as an aura. Now, that has been scientifically proven. So you have a lot of jackasses that have been running around in the community that have named themselves after ancient cultures, but call everything the ancient cultures left us pseudo. These are people that are basically spitting in our ancestors' face. But now that Western academia has scientifically quantified these things. And what do I mean by that? I mean, 7 years ago, Harvard University actually used a machine called the squid magnometer. The squid magnometer allowed them to measure the magnetic field emitted by the heart from 22 feet away from each person. From 22 feet away. That right there is the grand opening, grand fucking closing on whether there's an aura or not. Okay, now I could make it much simpler and say that everything in the world is made from atoms. If you look up each atom, every single atom has a spectral line signature. What does that mean? That means that every single atom absorbs light and radiates light. So now, anything that's made from atoms does what? Absorbs light, radiates light. So what would that be again? Scientific proof that there's an aura. So see, these people that are just dropping rhetoric and all kinds of bullshit, you know, atheists, this, that, and the other, but they coming from an ancient paradigm. The two don't make sense. You can't be an atheist and then use ancient civilizations, at least not ancient black civilizations, because all of them believed in these things. And now, because we have science, we have technology that is sensitive enough to measure these things, we know that these things weren't beliefs. We understand that they just used different language to describe the science of their day than we do ours. It's just that simple. So now, when these people understood this basic science that aromatic amino acids create all of the vital proteins and peptides in your body, what did they do? They created a chemical compound called glyphosate. 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 Glyphosate is at the core of all these herbicides. Now, when you look at glyphosate not only disables the aromatic amino acids, but everything they make up. Why is that important? Because Europeans have a chemistry, and we have to put it this way. They don't have pheomelanin. That is a big mistake. Europeans do not have pheomelanin in their skin. Pheomelanin is what all the light-skinned brothers and sisters have. Eumelanin, which is 2 types, is what the brown and super dark brown to black brothers and sisters have. So because they do not have melanin in many cases, and there's degrees to this thing because there's been a lot of mixing over the years, right? So when you see Europeans with black hair and black eyes, you know, there's some African lineage back there somewhere. So there's a different degree in skin tone from those people and the redhead, gray eye people. The redhead, gray-eyed people actually have a lot less pigment. They have the least amount of pigment on the planet. So typically, people that aren't scientifically sound, they will attribute that to blonde hair, blue eye. But that's not the case. Blonde hair is actually a quality of pheomelanin. When you get to the red hair, that's the complete absence of pigment and the presence of sulfur. What sulfur does is sulfur actually reflects light. It reflects electromagnetic radiation. It stops absorption. It stops absorption. So you have a lot of people running around out here calling themselves holistic healers that are suggesting people take in sulfur-based herbal compounds, sulfur-based hair products. Sulfur 8 is making a killing in all of the Black and Korean beauty supply stores. These are people that we quote unquote trust. Then people are making their own products by mixing store-bought products like sulfur 8 with a little shea butter. So when you read the ingredients, it's got like shea butter, coconut oil, sulfur, sulfates, blah, 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 blah. This is death to the Black body. And so when I talk about the Black man and Black women being the new cavemen, they don't understand that there's a light requirement in order for them to be healthy. So they think that they could go on a certain type of diet, and then they think they could take some herbs and get 15 fucking minutes of sunlight a day and somehow be healthy. And 15 minutes is the average amount of sunlight that we're getting now. This is why Black people are having Black men are having problems keeping their dicks hard. This is why Black women are having problems getting pregnant. You know, it's a lot of brothers running around thinking their pull-out game is dope, and their pull-out game is not dope. It's that their sperm is not potent. So they think their pull-out game is keeping them wavy, but it's not. Their balls don't work good. You understand? Because we're not getting the proper activate, and we're becoming cavemen. Now, when we think of the classical cavemen hid from the sun. The cavemen ate shit, feces. Oh, anybody in the developed countries, America and Europe, where you at, where I'm at, if you eat store-bought meat, processed meat, that meat has a certain amount of government-approved rat and mouse feces in each package. Why? Because they can't keep these rodents out of the meat processing factories. So they've approved a certain amount that is supposed to be non-toxic for humans. In the same fashion that they say that these herbicides that they're giving the plants are non-toxic for humans, because the human cell doesn't have a chloroplast. The human body doesn't have a shikimate pathway. The shikimate pathway is basically the process of which these plant cells and bacterial cells produce aromatic amino acids. Now, we don't have that.
Okay, sorry, you know what? I know you was just on a roll, but I wanted, because you touched on something right there, and I was actually trying to find the video to kind of back up what you were saying and actually ask you a question based upon that as well. Now, recently I received a video. I believe it was a brother from the motherland. He had an apple in his hand, basically, and he was, you know, demonstrating that there is a lot of you know, chemicals, products, herbicides actually on the apples themselves even after you washed it. So he took the apple in the hand and a razor blade and started scraping away, and a lot of white substance, wax-like substance started to come off, formulate on his skin and upon the apple itself. So I wanted to know, what exactly is that substance upon the apple? You know, and you know, is that the herbicide? Is those are the things that they use to slowly poison us?
That's right. Those are residues from these chemical compounds. And I'm going to tell you how these things work and how they got approved, because they say that the human body doesn't produce these aromatic aminos which glyphosate and these herbicides target, they're safe for us to consume, which is total bullshit, because these aromatic amino acids, like I just told you, that's what hemoglobin is made of, your red blood cell. That's what your melanin is made out of. And although the Europeans don't have melanin, they definitely have melatonin in their body. They definitely have serotonin in their body. They definitely have dopamine in their body. And all of these are called biogenic amines. The reason they're called biogenic amines is because they're made of these aromatic amines. And guess what? They require a specific amount of light in order to function. Proteins are like origami. You know, they have different types of folds, and they require hydrogen, first of all, to be completely wet, and then light to hit them in order for them to unfold into the waters in your body, into the plasma in your body, and plug into the plasma via hydrogen bonds in order for them to actually function optimally. So without the right amount of hydrogen via water, via plasma, without the right amount of hydrogen via light, because that's the other thing that a lot of people don't really understand. It's really just hydrogen interacting with hydrogen. And this is why I've been so successful in reversing such a wide array of illnesses and, you know, diseases, is because I was lucky. I didn't even know all this time what I was doing. But Sebi also never spoke on it. But he had it interwoven all throughout his program, because he would take people to Honduras. Where's Honduras? Honduras is where they're getting UV radiation all year long. In America and Europe, they're not. He was also located right next to, he had volcanic water pumped into the place so that they were bathing, soaking, and drinking this water all day. So the foundation was laid there. So when people think that they could be in New York or they could be in London and they're going to eat the diet and they're going to take some herbs and then they're going to have the same results, they are out of their minds, especially when they're not getting the right amount of sunlight. They're getting 15, 16 minutes a day. And like I said, Mama Atomics was specifically crafted in a way for heavy hydrogen to flood the system. In fact, the delivery system is directly under the tongue, so that the heavy hydrogen, along with the minerals, along with the aromatic amines, along with the biogenic compounds, goes directly to the blood. And this is how Mama Atomics has been so powerful. So without getting these things like this, there's no way this can work. So in order for any herbal system to work, they're going to really, and Mama Atomics is the only formula like this on earth, they're going to need it to serve as the basis for their foundation. Now, when you look at light and when you look at water, what you have interacting is hydrogen and hydrogen. The water, H2O, structured water, H3O2, hydrogen. Where does light come from? Light comes from hydrogen fusing in on itself. In fact, the entire periodic table comes from light, or from hydrogen interacting with itself. Life is hydrogen interacting with itself. People don't get this. And what happens is why melanin is so important, and the various types of melanin. Because you have difference, just not melanin. Rhodopsin is a type of melanin. Neuropsin, which is the type of melanin in your eyes that absorb UVA. Melanopsin is there for blue light and UVB. And so, like, there's a whole cascade of pigments in your body that serves these functions. So this is what's required for regeneration, repair, revitalization of the tissues, etc., etc. Now, if we're consuming these things, but we're not allowing light to hit them. They can't unfold. They can't become active. If we're consuming things and we don't understand that these herbicides actually inhibits the ability for these aromatic amino acids to function, we don't know what we're doing. A lot of people don't understand that when antibiotics was introduced, herbicides was basically founded upon antibiotics. It's the same exact science. Antibiotics basically inhibits bacteria or living organisms outside of plants to produce aromatic amino acids. Like, this is the function of life. Aromatic amino acids, and we have the highest interweaving of these aromatic amino acids when we deal with melanin. Chlorophyll is a interweaving of these aromatic amino acids. And the reason why chlorophyll is green is because of the part of the spectrum it is. Now, we understand that, but at the same time, we don't understand why blood is red. The reason why blood is red is because when you put heme under UV radiation, it glows. It is actually red light given off from it. So when you don't put it under light, it becomes stale and rots. When you take a fruit and you leave it in your kitchen, right? You cut the fruit open and leave it in your kitchen. Come back the next day. What you gonna have in your kitchen? Bugs and fruit flies and shit, right? Where do those fruit flies come from?
Where did the fruit flies come from?
Yeah.
Well, either A, inside of the actual fruit itself.
Grand opening, grand closing. You could stop right there. Most people assume something different is happening inside their body. Meaning, when they get sick, when they have a problem, they assume that a virus or bacteria is coming from somewhere outside their body, inside their body, to infect them. When that could be that's the furthest thing from the truth. The fact is that the water in your body, the plasmas in your body are drying up. The fluids that are not drying up are turning yellow with ammonia and brown from rot. People are rotting from the inside out. And it's because they're becoming cavemen. Our bodies were designed to be outside every day, all day, with the exception of, maybe 6, 7, 8 hours to sleep, which is when your pineal gland actually releases melatonin. And the reason your pineal gland releases melatonin is not just to put you to sleep. Sleep is like a sedative effect. Like when you go to the doctor, you get put unconscious so they could surgically work on you. That's what melatonin does. It puts you to sleep so that your pineal gland could surgically work on you, because melatonin's real job is to resize, repair those 5 respiratory proteins in your mitochondria, because that's where all the life comes from in your body, the mitochondrial DNA. So when we don't have this information, but we running around prescribing herbs, we running around telling people to drink water. Matter of fact, let me show you something with this water thing, because this is where the rubber meets the road.
Okay. While she's showing us that, I've got a quick question from our sister Cleopatra. Cleopatra Raw Sunshine. She asked, does it help if we sun gaze?
Yes, it helps if we sun gaze, but even that, I've been listening to some of these guys try to give instructions on solar gazing, and again, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Most of them are saying the same thing that they heard Indians saying. They repeating the same thing that they heard Europeans saying. Oh, the best time to solar gaze is right when the sun's coming up or right when the sun's going down. Why is that? Why Europeans and Indians? And we got to look at India. India is the place with the highest amount of genetic mutations, right? So why are these people saying it's the best time when the sun's coming up or when the sun's coming down? Because that is when you get the least amount of UV and infrared radiation. You're getting the safest type of solar radiation for non-pigmented eyes. Okay, throughout the day, every part of the spectrum has its shine, so to speak. And when you're looking at the peak part of the day, that's when you get the closest to UVC, which is the best, right? But they tell you UVC is dangerous, only they don't tell you that everywhere in laboratories, in dentist offices, and any places where they have to have a high amount of sanitary cleansing, they use UVC because no viruses and bacteria can exist under UVC. They don't tell you that UVC can be properly absorbed by melanin because they don't have any. And UVC will basically, it's almost like a vampire effect to people that don't have melanin. It literally will kind of light them on fire, right? So let me show you some of this.
Okay, as our brother does this, of course, we're definitely going to answer some more questions as well. I see you, Perseus Andromeda. Definitely going to get your question answered very shortly. Our wonderful sister Kaba Nebti Ankh, who is our moderator. She's doing an excellent job. We're going to get your questions answered as well.
Yeah, my computer's running slow, so forgive me. I just gotta be patient with it and hope it don't act too crazy and shut off. But when we solar gazing is a beautiful, beautiful thing to do. That's what we're supposed to be doing. All of the blood in your body, remember, every blood cell, I got to say it like over and over and say it slow because I want you guys to learn. See, there's a difference. And this is another plague that we have in our community right now. So I really want you guys to come check out the whole lecture on my YouTube page, subscribe and all that kind of stuff. But there's an illness that we have right now, a mental illness where we're very mentally lazy. So we satisfy ourselves with knowing of a thing instead of actually knowing a thing. And there's a big difference between knowing of a thing and actually having in-depth knowledge of a thing. And because we don't know that, we have a lot of people posing as health experts, posing as trainer experts, posing as herbalists, posing as people that understand these sciences, and they don't. They know just an inkling more than you do. So this is why you get the nursery school bullshit, which drives me up the wall. Somebody's like, oh, well, I'm having a blood issue. And then they go, oh, well, you need dandelion because dandelion is good to detox the blood. Oh, you have a liver issue. Oh, well, milk thistle is good for the liver. Like that shit is so elementary. Like I can't believe people go for that. That's like when you're in kindergarten. There's no other analogy I have for this. It's like kindergarten. You put the word square on one side and then you put the shape square on the other side. You like draw a line to it. They're like, bad liver, milk thistle. Nobody needs that. You don't need to consult or have a consultation with somebody doing that kind of shit. You can Google that. You could Google herbs for liver and that type of shit come up. It's ridiculous what's passing for scholarship nowadays, right? So let me show you this science right here because we got to understand it. So this is what level I had to drop this thing down to. So let me wrap on your question, sis. Yes, you should solar gaze, but you need to solar gaze at 10 a.m., 12 noon, 2 p.m., 4 p.m. You need to solar gaze all throughout those times. And don't listen to anybody telling you that light is damaging to the eye, especially a brown or a black eye. All right. That is absolute foolishness and ridiculousness. That is the #1 nutrient for eye health. All right. Now, like I said, they're using this science against us. And this is a part of the reason why I'm coming with the book, The Black Man is the New Caveman, because the black man no longer goes out in the sun. He lives in a cave. He goes from the house, jumps in the car, right? He's mad as hell if he got to get on a bus, ride a bike, or get on a train. So he goes from the house to the car. And let me let you know this right out the gate. All windows, house windows, apartment building windows, car windows, truck windows, office building windows, all of these windows block out UV radiation. So if you think you're sitting in your house or you're sitting at your job and you're letting the sun come through the window, that's cool, but you're not getting any UV, okay? Which is the most crucial thing that you need for your health, right? So let me deal with this water, and we're gonna walk all the way around, because this is what lays the framework and the infrastructure for all of your health needs in your body. Water controls protein structure, formation, unfolding, and mineral interfacing. So anybody telling you about the herbs and the minerals, and they're not telling you that you need a specific type of hydration first, they don't know what they're talking about, because none of the minerals in your body can you utilize without being completely hydrated. That's #1. #2, the only thing that minerals do is facilitate electron movement. And the reason why they facilitate electron movement in the body, which is so important, the function of hydrogen is based on electrons, because light, photons, only interact with electrons on this planet. You understand? Only interact with electrons on this planet. And I don't want to hear no half-ass holistic hustlers repeating my shit, because I'm borderline ready to start slapping these niggas that's repeating and regurgitating my lectures without giving me proper references and citations, because these same fake-ass niggas that's supposed to be pro-black will reference Europeans and dead Europeans in a heartbeat, but won't reference their contemporaries, especially their brothers. And the reason being is because they full of fucking bullshit, and they more scared of losing followers than they are worried about actually giving people some life transforming information, which can turn into generations upon generations of wealth, because real wealth is generated from our biology. Okay, so we have to understand that water controls protein structure, formation, unfolding, and mineral interfacing. This includes all enzymes, which includes all antioxidants, phytonutrients, alkaloids, etc. DNA, RNA, mitochondrial DNA, all of your hormones, all of your pigments. Okay, no pigment. I don't care. I don't want to hear none of this bullshit about activate melanin and activate pineal glands if we're not talking about deep levels of hydration. Okay, water structure and mineral density determines, now this is a little sciencey, but I'm gonna bring it back around to you real quick. Water structure and mineral density determines how fast hydrogen atoms move in water molecules. Now we know that water molecules are based on a tetrahedral shape, the shape of a triangle, to make it simple, with oxygen at the apex and 2 hydrogens forming the foundation at the bottom. Okay, this is your basic water molecule in nature. All right, water structure, the shape of how these molecules come together, determine how fast hydrogen atoms move in these water molecules. How fast hydrogen atoms moves determines how fast the electricity being produced and made bioavailable to the body is moving. This is the major relevant point for pH regarding acid and alkaline, especially when it comes to water. This is why I had to start making water speaking badge qualifications. EnQi, the god of water, has to start passing out water speaking badges, because if these niggas don't know this information, they're not qualified to speak on water. Okay? Water is the main absorber of electromagnetic radiation on Earth, particularly infrared. Okay? Infrared radiation is what allows water to become structured. Now, watch this shit here. When you start talking about structured water, these faggots will say, oh, that's that Gilbert Ling science. Oh, that's that Gerald Pollack science. Not mentioning Mona Harrison. Not mentioning the fact that it's already in the hieroglyphs that Shu structured the waters of this planet and structured the atmosphere, which particularly is controlled by water vapor. Okay? Water vapor is in the oceans and in the air. This is a planet of water in different densities. And it's electricity that structures that. Radiation, particularly infrared. And this is why my aunt wears the feather of Shu. That's not my aunt's feather. See, all these motherfuckers running around talking about Kemet don't know what the fuck they talking about. That's not my aunt's feather on top of her head. That's why the feather is called a shut, because it belongs to Shu, the god of electricity. And my aunt is wearing that feather to demonstrate balance is what's required in your biology. And that's what a pH of 7 means. pH of 7 is neutral. It's not alkaline and it's not acid, which is what your blood wants to be. Ma'at, balanced between acid and alkaline. People talk about acidosis as if alkalosis is not as dangerous. Okay? All you have to do is drop a piece of bone, drop a chicken bone in some ammonia and see what happens to that chicken bone. Okay? That chicken bone is not going to be strong after soaking in that damn ammonia for a day. All right. That's what we're subjecting our bones and our cells and our tissues to when we don't know what we're doing. Okay. So let me show you how this water hustle works. Okay. Because we got to get this to understand this shit. And when we deal with the close on this racism in science, though, because I really got to bring this shit home. All right. These fucking plagiarists, bullshitters. I just can't say it. You know, I really want to go even more crazy, but I want to not alienate the audience too much. But they will give references to these Europeans and not reference their brothers. And all of this science, anybody who has ever heard a Gerald Pollack lecture knows that he will say hydrophilic surface 1,000 times per lecture. Never once. And he talks about how much lab work he's doing on various hydrophilic surfaces and they're contrasting the hydrophobic surfaces. Blah, 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 blah. Never once do they touch on melanin when melanin is the most hydrophilic, dynamic, the most hydrophilic, dynamic surface compound in all of biology on Earth, bar none. Because all of these other hydrophilic surfaces, they have to use infrared from a separate source to actually structure the water up against it. Melanin has the ability to absorb different types of radiation and convert that to infrared radiation and structures the waters itself. This is what the perfect black and the perfect green, the legend of Asar spoke about. The perfect black being the perfect green. So when you hear them talk about hydrophilic surfaces in biology and they never mention melanin, understand that racism is still the strongest undergirding force in science. When you hear them talk about UV light, right? Now watch this shit, how it gets even deeper. You hear them talk about UV light and you hear them talk about infrared light. Why do they say UVA, UVB, UVC, and infrared? You know why? Because they don't want to say black light. They don't want to say black light because that's what you have outside of the visible spectrum. Outside of the visible spectrum, all of this is black light. And then you got these dumbass Moors, and I can't go in, and I can't go in on all of them because there's a lot of very, very savvy Moors. I build with them all the time. They understand science. They understand the difference between science and biology and legal jurisdictions and understanding how to use terms properly at their appropriate time and place. But there's a synonymous or synergy between black light and black biology. This is what our ancestors spoke about. It's that black light that gives life to everything. Infrared and UVA, UVB, UVC. Ask one of these I'm not black motherfuckers to tell you that black light is not producing vitamin D in their body, not in control of the hormones of their body, not producing nitric oxide in their body. Nitric oxide, us not being in the sun, is the #1 reason we need Viagra and dick pills. It's because the sun is the #1 producer of nitric oxide, which makes you have an erect penis. And because we're no longer in the sun, we don't get that. We're no longer in the sun, so we don't get that. It's the sun that controls the testosterone levels in men and in women. Women have to have, especially black women, the darker their pigment, the more sun they require to keep enough testosterone production around the ovaries to make sure they don't get fibroids. So the second cause, which used to be the #1 cause, which is not having a baby by the time you're 25, is overridden by the lack of sunlight that we're getting. And this goes back to the Nazi movement of the black sun. And we don't understand that right now we're living in the fruition of the Nazi agenda. The black sun was all about blacking out the sun above and creating a synthetic sun here that will reverse engineer the biology on the planet. And we live in that right now because we live in a sea of white synthetic light. And what is the white light composed of? The blue part of the spectrum. The blue part of the spectrum feeds white blood cells and causes inflammation. It reduces hormone production. It reduces anabolism in the body. It increases blood glucose levels, increases insulin, what do they call this shit now when you buy insulin intolerance in the body, or pre-diabetes. Light alone. And where are we getting blue light from, Minister? All of the lights in the office buildings where you work is just 100% blue light. All of the light in the gyms you work out in, 100% blue light. All of the light coming through your cell phone, 100% blue light. If you're watching this program on your tablet or your laptop, 100% blue light. All of the light coming off these new TVs, 100% blue light. The light bulbs that you have in your house or your apartment, the energy efficient ones, because your dumb ass want to save money and not save your life. Energy efficient light bulbs were made by getting rid of the UV part and the infrared part of the light bulb. When they got rid of the infrared part, which was the heat, it made the light bulbs last a lot longer. When they got rid of the UV part, it made your electric bill drop. So the light bulbs then save you money on both ends. So you effectively are taking years off your life by saving a few pennies off light bulbs. Me, in my house, I have UVA, UVB, UVC, and infrared black light bulbs all throughout my house. All right. So I'm just giving you this science to understand. If you really want to know how the body works, you guys got to join the God Complex course. If you're really trying to get herbs to perform the job that they're supposed to perform in your body, you have to get the Mamatomics, which not only combines heavy hydrogen, which used to be more plentiful in the oceans, but it's gone now. That's why everything grew larger, bigger, and lived longer on the planet in times gone by. It wasn't because of the quality of the air. It was because of the quality of the water, which is what your body is made out of. Okay, so let's get to this water hustle, because it's a whole bunch of hustles going on, and this goddamn multi-level marketing bullshit right here has to stop. Here's the water hustle. Okay, when you're looking at these ionizing machines, and it should be easy for all of these people, quote unquote, supposed to be naturalists, you know, naturopaths. I'm an herbalist, I'm this, I'm that, blah, 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 blah. All these people is bullshitting you because they telling you when it comes to water, get you some alkaline water out of a machine. Now, there's a difference between natural alkaline water and synthetic alkaline water. But I have never, ever, ever heard one of them explain the difference. And the reason why is because natural alkaline water is rare. It's rare. Okay. This is why I have this slide here. Only 3% of the Earth's water is fresh, and 2/3 of that is frozen. Of the 1% left, 2/3 of that is in recycling plants, swamps, and rivers. The 1/3 of that 1% left of pure earth water is coming up in springs all around the planet. Which makes pure earth water more valuable than oil, gold, and diamonds, which is another reason why they're pushing these ionizers and purified water and all of this osmotic machines and all kinds of dumb bullshit that people don't understand or buying. Now, osmotic machine produces dead water, pure water. Pure water is not what your body needs. There's a difference between pure water out of these machines and pure earth water. When you deal with pure earth water, guess what's in it? It's loaded with minerals. It's absorbing radiation. It's been naturally vortexing through the earth, so it has a magnetic field and a charge. And it has living organisms in it, which your body needs. Wait a minute, Minister EnQi, are you suggesting that we ingest water that might have bacteria in it? Aren't the people telling you to drink pure water also suggesting that your dumbass go to the vitamin shop or GNC and purchase probiotics? For what? Because the water you're drinking is not supplying you with what you need to feed your microbiome. See, all this is supposed to come out the water. So now here's the science of how these dumbass machines work. They actually take that water molecule, H2O, and split it in half. So you have a hydrogen cation and a hydroxide anion. The positive, the hydrogen, comes out the acid side, and the OH, which is just over half a molecule now, comes out the alkaline side. So it is a synthetic alkalinity. And anybody that knows 8th grade science would tell you it's impossible to have pure alkaline water because it's minerals that actually neutralize or buffer acids and create a base or alkaline. So any type of water that's devoid of minerals, like reverse osmosis water, distilled water, and the likes, and alkaline water, is bullshit. It's fake. Okay, disassociation. This is an argument that I get with people who actually know a little science. They'll say that when you have a natural water flow in the state of vortexing or water flowing over rocks, etc., water molecules actually disassociate. But what they don't know is that they reattach at a steady rate. So you have a constant flow of solid state water molecules that you're absorbing in your body. That's what's bioavailable. Now, next hustle, oxidation reduction potential. This is a big one. And because our people are functional illiterates, meaning that they don't really understand these things. They don't understand reduction. I know for a fact they don't understand reduction. Reduction in biology actually means to increase. So when they hear reduce, they don't understand that that means to increase the electricity in biology. All right. Oxidation, because it sounds like oxygen, they think is a good thing. Oxidation is actually stealing electricity from a thing in biology. So oxidation is a bad thing. So oxidation reduction potential, they hear that term and they think, bam, that means a good thing. And then you have these Keynesian people, which led the way, which people don't know is a fucking multi-level marketing company. So these people regurgitating these scientific claims are not really doing anything but making a strong sales pitch to you. They don't know science, they don't know biology, and they don't know health. Okay, so now when they tell you that regular water has a 100 ORP or a 200 ORP, and the water coming out of our ionizer has a negative 300, a negative 400, a negative 500. What they don't tell you is that ammonia also has a negative ORP. And the higher you get in the alkaline range, the lower the ORP goes. Now, ask any one of them to drink a half a cup of ammonia for you, and they're going to look at you like you stupid. But that's exactly what a low ORP does. And because these are broken water molecules, these things are never even going to hit your body's system in the same way that you think they are. So now let me show you this, because I know a bunch of people, personality worshippers, they're going to say, you know, EnQi just trying to sell his shit. He don't know what he's talking about. So let's do this. Right?
Hold on real quickly. Before you go into that, I'm going to say this. For all of those of you who are tuned in fresh right now and don't even know about Talk with the Titans, let me just give you a quick intro into Talk with the Titans. Talk with the Titans was birthed out of the idea that the intellectual giants, the titans, such as our beloved brother Minister EnQi, should have a well-organized platform to present, discuss, and debate critical information affecting our community, proposed by you, our audience members, our community. Right now, our brother is going in, and I really want to know who out there is feeling the information, loving the information. I'm seeing we have a lot of people tuning in right now. Can you please give us a big thumbs up, letting me know that you're liking the information as well? If you've got any questions or comments that you want to give to our brother, please drop them literally now. We haven't got much longer on the show, so please.
How much time I got?
I believe you've got just short of half an hour left.
Oh my God, I got so much to go. All right, let's go. Let's get in there.
But please give us a big thumbs up, give us some likes, let us know that you're loving information. And if you've got any topics that you would like to hear discussed as well on the show, please leave them down in the comment section as well. And we actually got our brothers Red Pill, Born Knowledge Alarm, and Tahir RBG coming up next after this show. So please, after this show is finished, I would love for you to stay on the Titans TV YouTube page. You should be having an alert that it will pop up, or just simply go onto the page and you should see the link for the next show. So there will be another show literally after this as well. But my brother, please continue. But we've only got less than half an hour left, just letting you know.
I got you.
If you could just save like 10 minutes before the end so we can get some questions in as well answered.
All right, so let me go. So let me say this. Let me shorten it down so you guys can go to my YouTube page and you can watch the lectures. It's a 5-part lecture and you'll get this. But here's one of the clinical reports. Degradation of myocardiac myosin and creatine kinase in rats given alkaline ionized water. All right. Now, this is from actual chemistry studies at the College of Bioresources Sciences in Nihon University, Kanagawa, Japan. They did 3 studies on rats. Now, why did they use rats? Because rats are erythrocyte mammals. They have the exact same circulatory system as we do. A different scale because they're much smaller, but the same circulatory system. Here's the second report. Influence of alkaline ionized water on rat erythrocyte hexokinase activity and myocardium. Histopathological influence of alkaline ionized water on myocardial muscle of muscle rats. Now, what these studies found, simple and plain, is that the alkaline water caused necrosis. All right. And I have the definition of necrosis here for you, which is the death of most or all of the cells in an organ or tissue due to disease, injury, or failure of the blood supply. All right. And the cells that did not die in the heart muscle, because this is all happening in the heart of these rats, suffered fibrosis, which is thickening and scarring of the connective tissue. All right. You can go look up these results and read them on your own in further depth. Now, what I need you to see is this. I need you to see this real quick. I ain't gonna spend a lot of time on it because, like I said, you can watch the videos, but look at these guys. Look where they live. Look at the water that they're drinking every day, all day. Ask yourself, how is it that rats that live in toilet water and sewer water can thrive and get nice and healthy and chunky like my man right here, but when they drink alkaline water, they have heart failure? I'll show you why. I'll show you why. And this is the same reason why 70% of the men, women, and children that I've consulted on over the past 6-7 years are all hypoxic. And hypoxic means that they're not getting oxygen to their tissues, glands, organs, etc., because it's the blood cells that actually carry that. And like I told you earlier, your blood cell is composed of what? Aromatic amino acids. Aromatic amino acids absorb and radiate light. They cannot do that if they're dehydrated. Because of the type of waters that we're putting in our body, because of the type of supplements that we're putting in our body, we don't understand that most of the herbs, and a lot of herbalists, they're not hustlers, but some of them that just don't understand biochemistry, they don't know that your body requires a lot of water to process these herbs. Your body requires water to process these proteins. So when they give a dehydrated person herbs to take, they're actually further dehydrating the person. When a person is backed up and they're not having bowel movements, and they give that person herbs to take, that person is going to have a bowel movement, but they're going to have a bowel movement because their body is going to extract water from the cells and tissues in their body and bring it into the colon to remove the waste there, right? Further dehydrating the body, making the blood cells hypertonic, which flushes water out of the cells, and then you cannot carry oxygen, etc., throughout the cells and the tissues. Furthermore, the heart is made of these aromatic amino acids. So the heart cannot absorb the light and radiation, which it has to do its job via electricity from the oxygen that is separated from the electrons in the lungs, or the electrons that comes from the oxygen in the lungs. Now, what you're seeing right here is two different sets of molecules. On your left, you're seeing what? Structured water, H3O2, which is when water is structured in the cells. That's what you want your water to look like, okay? On the right here, you're seeing H2O2, all right? That's peroxide. Now, let me show you why I'm showing you these two things real quick. When you have water, natural water molecules come together in light, it produces structured water. When you break the water in half, what you see on the bottom, like I showed you earlier what these ionizers do, all of the ionizers, not just Cajun. When they break the water molecule in half to create synthetic alkaline water, you have these hydroxides, which is a oxygen combined to one hydrogen. That is not even classified scientifically as water. You niggas are drinking GMW, genetically modified water. So you're worried about genetically modified food and you're drinking genetically modified water. All right. So when you put a hydrogen and an oxygen together with another hydrogen and oxygen, and in case you don't know, water has an intelligence which causes water to repool. So when this repooling effect happens, because the first place it hits in your body is your stomach full with hydrochloric acid, hydrogen, this repooling happens, you're going to add these two together and you're going to get one of two things. You're either going to get the two hydrogens and the two oxygens bond together to make peroxide, which is going to create oxidative stress on the tissues, just like you've seen in the mice, or you're going to have a water molecule, H2O, come together, and then you're going to have a loose free radical produced in the body, which means that all of the water is turning back into the tap water before it was in the ionizer, and then you're releasing free radicals throughout the body. See, this is the science that they don't want me to talk about, but the God EnQi is back, the God of the waters. Now, here you can look up what happens with Mamatomics, because one of the ingredients in Mamatomics is deuterium. Now, here's a test they did at a 50% solution. I don't have a 50% solution in Mamatomics. It's way more powerful. But this is a 50% solution that they dropped in tap water. Nothing else. They don't have the bioagenic amines and the aromatic amino acids and all of the trace minerals, the major minerals, the monatomic minerals, all of those things combined in one compound. This is just deuterium. And when they added deuterium in a 50% solution to tap water and gave it to mice, they immediately seen a 27% increase in the water structure in the muscles. And the water in the muscles is what carries all the electricity and fires all the electrical potentials, which results in strength. They seen an immediate 13% increase in the structured water in the brain. And in case you don't understand, the only thing that's taken over heart disease as the #1 death on earth is brain disease now. Why? Because there are lesions on the brain. And I got that from a mortician who cuts bodies open and looks at the brains themselves. There's actual feces and lesions on the brain, and it's coming from the unstructured water in the brain and the dehydration of the brain. All this alcohol and crazy shit we're dealing with. So many people coming to me at 27 and 29, they dick don't work no more. Meanwhile, they out every goddamn weekend on weed, e-pills, lean, and all kind of shit. Now, let's even go a little further because I got this other thing going on lately. Let me skip down real quick because I got to deal with this too. Right? I got to deal with this too. I got to deal with this right here. Right? Because people keep asking me about this, and people know that I started out doing iridology, but what they don't understand is iridology is a 100% hustle. It's not African, it's not holistic, it's not something from Africa. These are the creators, Ignaz Pacelli and the progenitor who came almost 100 years after him, Bernard Jensen. Ignaz Pacelli was a struggling physician who needed a way to boost his business, and he came up with iridology. Grand opening, grand closing. Now, EnQi, how you saying that? What about all of the people that used iridology and got relief? Because I used iridology on people and the people got relief. What I didn't know at the time was when you're dealing with sick people and you tell these sick people, oh, you need to drink more water, you need to get more sunshine, you need to exercise, and take these herbs. It don't matter what goddamn diagnostic tool you use to diagnose these people because you're improving their quality of life with your suggestions if they take them. So if I take anybody, I can have my eyes closed. If they eat white bread, white rice, and drink Pepsi and smoke cigarettes, and they come to me with any kind of problems, if I tell them to just stop the cigarettes, the white bread, white rice, and stop drinking soda, they're immediately going to have an increase in health. And if I tell them I use the mystical, magical, pin the fucking tail on the donkey science, guess what they're going to say? Oh man, that must be some powerful science he used because guess what? In 30 days, I dropped 10 pounds and I've stopped having this problem and that problem and the other problem. That doesn't speak to the success of the diagnostic molecule, which is iridology. Okay, let me show you the science once again. Look this case study up. Can iridology detect susceptibility to cancer? A prospective case controlled study. 110 subjects was enrolled in this study. 68 of those subjects had histologically proven cancers of the breast, ovaries, uterus, prostate, and colorectum. 42 were healthy people as control subjects. Iridology professionals identified only 3 correct cases out of 110. I don't know if you niggas ever played lotto. I don't know if you ever been to a casino. I don't know if you ever rolled dice or played poker, but I guarantee you, you have higher odds with the goddamn lotto than 3 out of 110 cases. This is why holistic science is not making a dent in global health because there are too many goddamn con artists trying to make a fast dollar, right? Here's another test, and you guys can do the homework yourself. Iridology, not useful and potentially harmful. All right. There's a lot of things that this doesn't even cover. The iridology doesn't even cover why people need glasses. An iridologist can't even tell you why somebody is nearsighted or farsighted. I can, because it deals with the geometry of the eyeball. If the eyeball is stretched, they're going to have nearsighted. If the eyeball is pulled north to south, then they're going to be farsighted, because how the geometry of the eyeball is determines how the light coming in hits the pigmented epithelial pathway. And that light coming into that pathway is not only what controls vision, it controls dopamine production, melatonin production, all of your hormone productions. The light that hits the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, 90% of it comes from your eyes. Your eyes are the first and most basic form of surface chemistry you have. Surface chemistry is what the real science of the digestion is. The only reason chemists scrolls tell you that life and death happens inside the stomach is because that the microbiome produces 4,000% more light in the body than your cells do. So you actually have infrared radiation being produced from the microbiome in your gut, which actually then structures the water that you're drinking before it goes into your blood and becomes stem cells, tissues, organs, glands, etc., etc. Because all the water we drink is absorbed through the colon. But when your colon is backed up, you can't even absorb water, which makes everybody even further dehydrated, which again is why when I made Mama Atomics, it bypasses the entire digestion process, because you drop it directly under the tongue. You understand what I'm saying? So you guys can go deeper by watching the 5 videos, but there's so much more to understand. Light. This is why phosphorus is so important. And see, this is one of the things Dr. Sebi stressed was phosphate, iron phosphate, phosphate this, phosphate that. You have to understand that phosphorus plays a key role, right? And that's why Horus is there. We're talking about the light body in real science now. All of your phospholipids, which are the healthy fats that make up your membrane, are made from phosphorus, which means, guess what? That all of the membranes of your cells absorb light and radiate light, because anytime you hit phosphorus or a phosphorus-based compound with UV radiation, the type of light, specifically black light, that black folks need for health, hormone production, and reproductive potency, it glows. See, this is why you got to join the God Complex course and get this science from Minister EnQi, because nobody else has the science of black genetics. Do you know how I know? I invented it. I coined that term because when I went through all of the medical books, all of the books in colleges, they left 2 things out: water and melanin, and they still doing it today. But these coon ass niggas, these fast buck ass niggas will reference these white folks before they reference your brothers and lead you astray as long as you fattening up their pocket. All of the fats that make up the membranes on your cells is made from phosphorus. Your DNA, RNA, and mitochondrial DNA, phosphorus. ATP, the P stands for phosphorus. Phosphorylation is the process of cellular respiration. Your bone strength and density comes from phosphorus. Why? Because your bones are semiconductors. The appetite in your bone, all right? Appetite in your bone, all right? That serves as an N-type semiconductor. The collagen and the P-type, when you put it together, this is how the bone glows and lights up and produces electricity, which is why it's known as a piezoelectric crystal. You got to understand this science. This is why copper is the most it's the strongest biological conductor in the body, right? Silver, second strongest biological conductor in the body. Now, when you look at the periodic table, silver's number 1, copper's number 2, gold's number 3. But in the body, it's reversed. And the reason why copper takes precedence over silver is because copper has the ability to do something miraculous, and it's called a Josephson a Josephson junction, or the Josephson effect. And basically, you can look that up on Google. You motherfuckers got smartphones. What that is basically copper has the ability to allow an insulator to conduct electrons. An insulator, which means that copper allows electrons to cross into fat. This is how you burn fat. Copper allows electrons, this is how oxygen burns fat. Copper allows electrons to go across the myelin sheath. So when you don't have the levels of hydrogen and copper combined, this is how your myelin sheath is able to be eaten by white blood cells and deteriorate. White blood cells can't eat anything highly electrified. This is why when the water is structured in the body, first thing you got to understand about white blood cells is white blood cells can't swim. They're crawlers. They crawl around the veins and arteries in your body. So anything in the middle, all right, especially if the waters in your body is structured, and anybody that's on that Mamatomics, oh, they have a highly structured blood flow, right? But anything that's structured, there's another term they use for it. They call it exclusion zone water. The reason why they call it exclusion zone is because it excludes everything down to subatomic particles, meaning anything that is not water gets excluded out of the exclusion zone. And this is your immune system, how it's supposed to function. When you have structured water, it excludes any type of virus, bacteria, or toxin that is not utilized by the body's biochemistry out to the side, to the curb, kicks it to the curb. And when it gets to the side of your veins, arteries, tissues, etc., the bottom feeders crawling around could then knock it out. Okay, the bottom feeders can knock it out. But all this, see, this is what I'm saying. None of these motherfuckers with this bullshit basic kindergarten, sisters, if you're having a problem in your womb, you need EnQi. Brothers, if you're having a problem with potency in your prostate, you need saw palmetto. They don't know what they're talking about. And they're just dropping endless rhetoric to confuse and confound people, which creates the idea, the illusion that they really understand what they're doing. Like a sister called me up last night and she said she wanted to know about breatharianism and some shit about turtles breathing and all this other kind of crazy shit. I said, listen, breatharianism is a very, very vital science. But what these people that are just looking for shock to awe you and get you to drop a few dollars don't tell you is that can only happen at like 5,000 feet above sea level, where you're living in a part of the atmosphere where the air is actually so dense with hydrogen and negative ions that you can utilize that, along with the fact that you're getting UVB and UVC every day of the year, all day. UVC doesn't even touch the earth unless you're at 5,000–6,000 feet above sea level, which is why breatharianism, if practiced today, is only practiced high up in the mountains. All right, that's number one. Number two, it takes 10–20 years worth of discipline and study to even learn the breathing practices, techniques, etc. Number two, these people that practice these disciplines don't have a job, they don't have children, they don't have worries, they don't have friends, they don't have social media, they don't have anything else they're dealing with. They're in constant so my point is that none of that shit applies to people that live with children and jobs and businesses, because you don't have the mental space to even create that paradigm, and you don't live in the type of climate where that can even happen. But again, we're in this shock jock bullshit. And no, you don't need to buy no damn lacto anything, because all that is it's a hustle. It's a hustle. And I'm gonna tell you why. As people stop drinking cow's milk, what happens with the cow's milk? You have more milk becoming sour. So what did they do? They found a slick way to sell niggas sour milk. That's all these damn probiotics is. Powdered rotten milk. Okay.
Oh gosh. You know what? Real quickly, because we've literally got to shut down the show. We've run over time. Is I think you basically answered that question because the question was I was told by to buy intestinal bacterials called lactobacillus acidophilus to enhance digestion. Sounds bogus. Bacteria that kill, basically. Can it aid my digestion? So I think that was the question that you saw up on the screen already that you've just already answered. But the last final question was, you know what water does Minister EnQi drink and where can we purchase it from?
I finally have my own water shipped to the D. But before that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not shipping my water all over the world yet. What you can do is buy Mama Atomics. Buy Mama Atomics. That's how you get your hydrogen directly to the cells, the tissues, and bypass the digestive system until you can get the body adequately hydrated. But you have to couple the Mama Atomics with sun exposure. So you need to couple the Mama Atomics with sun exposure. You need to get out there and make sure you get at least 10 minutes of solar gazing after every meal. After every meal, especially if you're trying to take herbs, etc., etc. If you're trying to take herbs from any condition, this is how I know, again, these herbalists don't know what they're talking about. Any client that I've ever had with any illness, they could testify. As a part of the treatment, they had to get a certain amount of sun. I'm talking about, I've had cancer patients that couldn't see and couldn't walk. And you know what I told them? I said, if you don't have a family member, sister or brother that's going to carry your ass out into the backyard or the front yard and give you some sun, you're going to go. Period. Period. Because you have to get out into the sun. It's the sun that's going to revitalize the system and the tissues. And I have another video up that talks about this because we've been so focused on nuclear DNA, we're missing that mitochondrial DNA is the whole star of the show. And in mitochondrial DNA, you start to accumulate mutations because you have so much mitochondrial DNA there. And that's where the programming gets lost. Combined with the fact that we're getting all these different radio signals that affect DNA transmission. Because coupling between mitochondrial DNA and nuclear DNA is how the cells actually function. The further the mitochondria gets away from the nuclear DNA, you actually have cell failure. And this is where vitamin D is able to come into play and actually serve as a mitigator between communication in the cells and light, et cetera, et cetera. But we closed down the show, so I don't want to open up a whole nother can of worms that I can't really go into and dive deep into. But vitamin D comes from the sun and it competes. It's the black vitamin that competes with the red or the pink pigment, I should say pigment, that competes with the red pigment from the earth. And vitamin A and vitamin D actually have this battle inside your biology. They compete for the same cell receptors to do the same jobs and everything. So vitamin D production, just like melatonin, just like melanin, just like testosterone, just like dopamine, all starts in the eye. And none of these people practicing iridology tells you that because they don't know it. So now what you're going to watch is these biting ass plagiarists start to reformulate their lectures. They're going to start telling you about the blue light coming out the TV and all that. They're going to start reformatting to remix my shit into their shit so they can sound like they know what they're talking about. And none of them is going to say, oh, as you know, as the good brother, Minister EnQi's, the reference from Minister EnQi, blah, blah, blah. So this is another problem I have because this is self-hate. That's why I got to keep hitting this shit on the head. When you don't reference your brother, but you have no problem referencing all these Europeans, that's a form of self-hate. Just like gang banging on the goddamn street is just intellectual. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have to do another show so I can come back and go back in for the people. You know what I'm saying? And get to some more questions and slap up a few more haters and hustlers. You know what I'm saying? And come in there and do it. How, you know, but it's a disease we got. The black man is not a new caveman. The motherfucker wearing shades all goddamn day as if he don't understand what melanin is for. Taking drugs and all kinds of shit that modulates dopamine production in his brain. So now he can't even produce any dopamine. So if the nigga don't get high, he don't have an appetite to eat. If he don't get high, he can't sleep at night. Do you know what that means when you can't sleep at night? The circadian rhythm in your body is off. If the circadian rhythm in your body is off, guess what just happened in your body? All of your organs are now every man for themselves. So you don't even have a holistic community in your body. These holistic healers selling herbs and bullshitting, they never address that. So when they say they're giving you a holistic healing, but they don't address the rhythm in your body that links all the organs together to make it function as one system, you know they're faking and frauding. Because when your circadian rhythm is thrown off, your sleep is challenged, or you're constipated, that means your liver is no longer communicating with the organs in your body. Your heart's no longer communicating with the organs in the body. The brain's no longer communicating. The spleen's no longer communicating. The kidneys are going every man for themselves. This is the foundation of autoimmune disease, cancer, and all this crazy shit. You understand what I'm saying? Lack of hydration is the breakdown of the immune system, which is centered around structured water and pigments as the intermediary. So I got to light these niggas' asses on fire so we can get this global health thing correct.
Damn, my brother's getting in. And of course, we're definitely gonna have to do a part 2 to this whole show. Of course, when you seen our brother Minister EnQi come on our show, literally within a week or 2 weeks, he's back on again, because you know what, he's got so much information that he has to get out to you guys. And I know you guys are loving information, and if you truly are loving information, please, we have over however many people in here right now, please give us a big thumbs up. Let us know that you're liking the information. Let us know as well what you would like to hear next from Minister EnQi up on this show, and we're definitely going to get that for you. Also, please, we've got Red Pill, Born Knowledge Allah, and Tahir RBG, and I'm not too sure if Blue Pill's going to be attending, but we've got all these magnificent, brilliant brothers coming into the show, coming up next after this. We might be starting about 10 minutes late due to we're actually running to the time of the show is going to start, so we might start another 10 minutes from now. So please stay tuned into the Times TV YouTube page, and you should see the next link pop up for the live show as well. If not, stay tuned in, man. You'll see it pop up.
You already know where's my remix at. Tony says she looking for that remix, man, and so's her daddy, damn it. Born Knowledge, you know, I'll holler at you this weekend. Peace. Oh, wait. Friday night, I got a blog talk. Y'all need to tune into the blog talk. We're going to do Get Out Part 2. Sister Abundance Child's going to be in the building. KT Arc Degree, Brother Insight. Everybody's going to be in the building for Get Out Part 2. And we're also going to deal with this Corey Holcomb bullshit. Corey Holcomb has been disrespecting the black woman for too goddamn long, and we're going to deal with this shit. Peace to the gods. I'm out of here.
Peace.